got all the subs from the Flat Earth. He got all the Flat Earth people. He came in, he started his YouTube when the Flat Earth got popping and scooped in a bunch of those people. And now he's getting a bunch of people through Ranked NFL because his channel's been stagnant for years. Go to his video on his channel and search popular, and his most popular videos were like 6 years ago. And then it wasn't until he started doing Ranked NFL and stuff. But if his channel's doing good, I can't be mad because the more it gets closer to the mainstream, maybe they'll have to admit it. And when you're in war, say we're in war right now, we're fighting for the field. We're all fighting for the NFL, and we have our own little scuffles inside of this little squad or little army thing around. We don't have to like everybody. Can hate me and stuff. But sometimes even but sometimes even but sometimes even but sometimes even but sometimes even
So what happened to Dave Chappelle? He's here today to talk about it in his first television interview. Please welcome Dave Chappelle. Fun. I'm glad you're here. Everybody wants to know, why'd you walk away from $50 million?
Well, I wasn't walking away from the money.
Yeah.
I was walking away from the circumstances.
Bring me back bearskins from Chios Island, and I'll make you the finest breastplate in existence.
It takes a while when you punch through to adjust
These
the
bears,
atmosphere.
where can I find them?
It was completely outside of my frame of reference. I've been in show business
north of
since
Chios
I was
City.
14. And I've heard the stories
I'll get you the bearskins
of
from
what
Chios
happens,
Island.
and I've seen these
Wonderful.
kinds of things play out
The
in front
best
of me.
ones are found
Okay.
north of
When you
Chios
say you
City.
heard the stories, what do you
And
mean?
missed
What
it.
stories?
I mean, you see before, look, Mariah
You
Carey
find the best.
made $100 million
That
deal,
one for me.
and 3 months later, she's all of a sudden
That
mysteriously
one for
crazy.
me.
Or Martin Lawrence punches through and he's waving a gun on the street screaming, "They're trying to kill me."
Yeah, we hear those stories.
And it always happens around the time in their career when it seems as though they're crossing over the next plateau.
Yeah. Would you say you lost your mind, sort of?
No,
No.
not exactly.
Okay.
I wasn't crazy, but it's incredibly stressful.
Yeah.
And I felt like in a lot of instances, I was deliberately being put in stress because, when you're a guy that generates money,
Yeah.
people have a vested interest in control.
What is going on?
Were
with
they
this?
trying to control you? Because, I read the Time Magazine article, and they were quoted as saying you had extreme creative control and that you really ran your own show.
Yeah, okay, well, Oprah, I did 2 very successful seasons before that. So
Yeah.
why all of a sudden on the 3rd time am I in Africa by myself? Like,
Yeah.
what's happening?
So what happened? Did you find yourself spiraling downward?
Well, first of all, yeah, but I don't want to make it as a thing where I'm absolving myself of any
What?
responsibility.
Can I have a,
Obviously, I'm
can I
partially
have the,
responsible.
keys
a lot
for
of it has to do with me.
the car?
Was there
Why?
a tipping
So I
point
can get
for
my
you?
bag. Well,
I'll
I
give
just
you an
like took
example.
my toy
First
and then
season
lost
is,
Yeah.
2
Uh,
pieces
Uh-huh.
of it.
in the middle of the
Tell Manaya to
season,
take you.
it was a renegotiation.
Okay.
Ask her.
Every cup of Too Good you buy, you're helping donate food to fight hunger.
Who are you talking to?
You, babe. I was talking to you.
41 million meals and counting.
Glitter Girls! We're at the sweet shop planning a super sweet birthday surprise for one of our Glitter Girls. And that means donuts. We're ready to roll. Charlie and Sue QG are sampling the new ice cream flavors, and it looks delish. Lights, camera, action. Brienne, show us how it's done. First mix, then bake, then decorate. Just one final touch, and it's party time. Surprise! What a success! And we did it together because teamwork makes the dream work with the Glitter Girls.
Ultimately, through a series of events, and a little pressure, I ended up selling for way less than what I wanted. And going forward, and then in season 2, DVD's released, and it sets all these incredible records. Turns out the back
$500,000 in one day,
right.
1.2 million in a week, the largest selling television DVD of all time.
Yeah. So now suddenly, this is a bigger money maker than they thought. It was already making money, but now all of a sudden it's a whole new revenue stream, and my contract's up.
Yeah.
You know, so finish the season. So now, you know, the show is gaining popularity. The ratings are up every week. It's I'm the toast of the town.
Yeah.
And when the season starts ending, you know, you get the question, so Dave, what are you gonna do? And blah blah blah. And I knew to be real tight-lipped about it. You know, it wasn't like Comedy Central was a hot place to be when I showed up there.
Yeah. But you turned it around. Your show turned it around, became the most popular.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
You know, so and there was this is the thing. We had all these arguments. David got cut the poop joke, and there was a lot of discussion about we know what our audience wants. I was like, yeah, whatever. And I mean, they were wrong 100% of the time as far as what people were like.
Okay.
And the show is an incredibly hard show to do. That's the other thing. The Chappelle Show was, I mean, it's fun and all these things, but there's a tremendous amount of work that goes into making a show like that.
Yeah. People were saying, though, that you were on drugs, you lost your mind, you went into a mental institution. What is true? What is not?
Not on drugs.
Not on drugs.
Nah, not for years.
Okay.
Nah, I'm not on drugs.
And you weren't on drugs at the time?
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm telling you, I was incredibly stressed out. You know, love is like a nutrient. And I was deficient on vitamin love.
Really? Were you really?
You have my series.
Now, really, what was going on?
I have the seals for you.
This will show those idiots in the assembly
Damn,
we're
this
making
story.
progress. Interested in getting rid of more polemicoses for me?
I was doing sketches that were funny.
I'm interested.
But socially irresponsible.
Did you expect any less?
I felt like I was deliberately being encouraged, and I was overwhelmed.
Most things in life are.
It's like you get flooded with things, and you don't pay attention to things like your ethics.
If you take no risks,
when
you
get
win
so
no wars.
overwhelmed.
Exactly.
It's like you won the lottery.
How is it a Muslim understands this when the greatest generals of Athens don't?
I'm not sure whether I should feel flattered or insulted.
The Spartans are trying to find
More
out
you
supply
work,
lines.
Were they
We've
made?
got several spies already.
You make that real money.
We cannot afford such
They
a loss.
lost their
But if you
minds. I
want to
thought
keep
they
your
were
troops
crazy.
alive,
No.
I need you to kill more of their commanders.
Everything.
Leave their hoplites
I got all
without
these
leadership.
things, and I got
They'll be
your own personal problems that
Spartans
get
are fierce
inflamed with this
warriors.
kind of money.
Warriors, yes.
And
Thinkers,
I got to write a show and do
they
this show.
react like wild animals.
And I was overwhelmed.
Put them in a situation
And it was almost
that
like-
requires genuine thought, and they fall apart. Kill the commanders and
I don't know, it was
bring
almost
their
as if this
seals.
was happening deliberately.
See all
Okay,
the other
you
generals
mentioned a
react
moment
to
ago
it.
that
I'll
you
get you
felt
your seals.
The sooner
My
the
name's
better.
Robert.
Actually,
I lost
already have them.
23
I may have
pounds.
killed a few more Spartan commanders than you mentioned.
An
No life
overachiever.
jackets are required for the
Maybe
watching
you
of
are
this
as
film.
good as they say.
Feel free to share.
Would you be interested in more work?
And respect the copyrights thereon.
I'm always interested in more work.
Days of Noah.
I was worried about employing a messenger, but you've been a pleasant surprise.
Yes.
This video
They all call
is
me.
about one of the most controversial
If they
events.
call you anything offensive, they don't live long.
Welcome to Glory Stories with Dr.
Least I have you
Vaughn.
working with me.
Dr. Vaughn was one of the
Instead of
top
getting in my
eye
way.
surgeons in
Other
America
generals
and
getting
has
in
traveled to
trouble.
many countries in the world preaching.
They refuse.
No life jackets are required for the watching of this film. Feel free to share, but please do not download and respect the copyrights therein. As it was in the days of Noah, so also shall it be in the day of the coming of the Son of Man.
This video is about one of the most controversial events in all of human history.
For this one.
He's taking credit
Can I go
before.
over and stuff though?
Just wait till later.
I am the one who hired you. I have more work for you, if you're ready.
When is this thing gonna
Of course.
go
What do you
through?
need?
At this rate, the Spartans will need to recruit from their farmers.
You're really not fond of Sparta.
Would you be, were you me? They challenge all that Athens stands for. They care nothing for art, or education, or philosophy. For them, warfare is the only goal.
Strange thing to hear
What's
from
up,
a general
NRK
in the Athenian
television?
army.
I serve Athens with arms. because
We are
I am
playing
skilled with fighting and strategy.
Oh,
But
Odyssey.
I protect those who serve our culture and legacy.
They're lucky to have you.
I've earned my place.
Yeah, I don't know what's
Would you be
going on with this.
interested in more work removing Spartan commanders?
I'll get you your seals. Actually, I already have more seals for you.
Ha! Well done. Ready for more then?
I might. What would you like me to do?
You've impressed me, Misthios.
For a Spartan?
Yes, as you say.
I know. If you're just coming in,
And I need to redirect the
it looks
troops to
stupid.
I will ask you to take on the Spartan command again.
The commanders will be taken care of. You seem to admire art and philosophy. But how can someone who truly values that go to war?
If you have any care for knowledge or the arts, you must be ready to defend these rights. I am here to take up arms so that they can continue to enrich our culture. As long as they are threatened, the battle must be fought.
Why does a general support democracy?
You expect total obedience from your soldiers, I suppose. So why do you fight for democracy?
What is free will? It's essential that citizens play an active role in the function of their state.
But Athens recognizes only select citizens. Spartans recognize merit. In Sparta, a slave can rise.
Spartan rule would mean the demise of democracy.
Okay.
I'll leave now.
There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that.
Some things are going to be said which might disagree slightly with your
Not yet.
I'm a busy
high
man.
school
We need those
textbooks.
Spartan commanders
And it
removed from
came
their
to
posts.
pass,
Go.
when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God, the angels,
The Hebrew word B'nai Ha-Elohim, or in English, sons of God, at that point in the text does not mean cute little creatures with wings. It specifically means extremely ancient, very powerful, dimensional entities. Exactly 0 wings. And many of your most ancient texts, like the Sumerian Epic of Gilgamesh or the pages of the Book of Enoch, depicted here, right down to the Septuagint and the precision words from the Book of Genesis itself, are saying that in a strange world before that flood, like imagining an era of pure paradise, yet twisted into the deepest levels of the bizarre. The teachings and blood altars of the snake, and all of it entering in to that pre-flood world through these dimensional representatives that the Hebrew text call B'nai Ha-Elohim, fallen angels. These as sons of God, or in the pages of Enoch, the Watchers. Then, of course, plugging itself in to humanity. It's at that point in the text from all across the globe that these agents of darkness began
worship of the
forcefully birthing their own offspring.
That the sons of God, the angels, saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose.
One thing that seems sort of funny to me is that the people who rule the world teach their kids different things than they want taught to yours. As a touch of a side note, when you're dealing with Luciferians, little witchy people, the top of your most uppity up and exclusive secret societies and their beliefs of the teachings of the beings that entered in the land before time world that existed prior to that flood. You may hear terms like the secret doctrine, mystery religions, or my personal favorite, the age and time period of Atlantis. Shh. It's supposed to be a secret.
When the sons of God, fallen watchers, came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown.
I want to go a little further than just cracking open Pandora's box to peer into that pre-flood world. I definitely want us to take a critical look at the teachings of these fallen angels, the claimed mystery teachings, the mystery schools, making it perhaps full circle, the little shadow people to the deepest regions of the occult, and entities washing us up finally at the mother of all harlots, the great goddess of every dark age and empire, Babylon.
But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was just a man, and perfect, untampered and pure in the bloodlines of his generations. And Noah walked with God.
Oh man.
And Noah begat
I'm
three
tired.
sons, Shem, Ham,
I got full off of chicken wings.
You know, when I hear about bloodlines,
Decided to chill. Get on here. Make this guy run for me. I'm running it off.
special.
We had a different church service today. We had combined with another church in Riverside.
Tiniest little bitty details that bring the most illumination.
What's going on here? This game is glitching
Of
now.
course, I'm hoping that surely you didn't believe that this is a story that ends with a boat.
So yeah, welcome to the channel.
Notice that the text says that it was God himself who shut the doors.
What the heck is this guy?
Noah was a carpenter, right? It's come to my attention that God seems to really like carpenters.
As waters increased, the ark was lifted up above the earth, and the violence of the waters prevailed, and were increased greatly upon the earth. Yet the ark rose and rode upon the face of the waters. All in whose nostrils was the breath of life, of all that was in the dry land, died.
But it's not just the secrets, the occult, in the mouth of madness, I want to dive in and go a whole lot deeper than all that. Was the boat from the most ancient records of all Earth real? We're going to talk about the waters. We're definitely going to take a little peek at the volumes of the water. And some things are going to be said which are certain to make your favorite university professor highly uncomfortable, because I like doing that kind of thing. Will it float on the rockiest of violent and angry seas? Biological evidence that is literally screaming out for your attention. Sifting through the little bitty details, careful not to leave any fossil unturned. The physical evidence of a mass extinction event all across the face of the entire planet Earth. Of course, also taking a peek at these very long, interesting lifespans that coincidentally are not only recorded in bone, but recorded in pretty well all of your most ancient records. The dimensions and the million-dollar question: will all of the animals fit inside that boat?
And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was evil continually. And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart.
And at the dead center of the whirlwind, the beating heart in the middle of the storm, is one man, one name.
As it was in the days of Noah, so also shall it be in the day of the coming of the Son of Man.
Grip onto your life jackets. It's going to be a bumpy ride. Welcome to Noah. This journey is about to begin.
And the Lord said, I will destroy man, whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repenteth me that I have made them.
It's curiosity. It's
Where you going, buddy? No.
Wow, we're crunching tons of polygons here.
What's going on? Where's Regina?
Hi, I'm LaDonna. I invested in Vesco QQQ, a fund that gives me access to NASDAQ 100 innovations like real-time CGI.
Okay.
Yeah, it's... Oh, don't worry, I got it.
Become an agent of innovation with Invesco QQQ. For investment, carefully read, consider fund investment objectives, risk, charges, expenses, and prospectus at Vesco.com.
The word science is the pursuit of knowledge itself, no matter where that the trail leads. And the greatest barrier against all wisdom, the stronghold against knowledge itself, is the single thought in one's mind that they already have it all figured out. It's often said that Noah couldn't have built the craft described in the book of Genesis, because if two actually stayed dead, no one in the ancient world could possibly build a really big boat. Because, after all, in Christopher Columbus's day, no one could have produced a ship of that size. They would be absolutely right. We're talking about 1492. Columbus's box of single-layered timbers and rickety nails actually made it to the Americas, just to some degree. desert. That the pyramids, the Sphinx's head, seen right back there, were built by highly technical and engineering-minded people. And since we can see how the stones were cut right out of the quarries, like this enormous broken obelisk right here with all the people walking on it, we can be, at bare minimum, fairly certain that the pyramids were not built by aliens, because they would have had to have been aliens with rock hammers next to their laser guns. One could almost think that the precision, knowledge required to take on these massive building projects seen all throughout the ancient world, seeming to begin these two places here, Egypt and Samaria, dropping right down from the glacier-encased mountain of Ararat, the very mountain range, the very spot where the boat that saved all mankind is said to have landed. Sort of like the desire to build things that baffle and amaze us, coming down through the generations to a single parent source, as if engineering itself was in the very blood pumping through their veins. I have this strange feeling that though there are three suns, I think we're going to find some interesting things coming from these two bloodlines here, Shem and Ham. Come to think of it, one would actually expect to find enormous building projects coming right on through the generations and bloodlines of such a family as this. The model that I have personally come to favor most for the boat's actual architecture comes from the men and women over at Answers in Genesis, who simply went with ancient boat building architecture. You have many layers of offset planks comprising the walls of the framework. The pegs, of course, expand when the boat hits water, making it more watertight than any nail. Interlocking, interwoven layers, even loaded down with weights, much more than what the animals ever would have been. There is no practical argument that that boat won't float. Naval and marine engineers literally marvel at the precise measurements, dimensions, and ratios given for that boat in the book of Genesis. The same type of ratios one would use for a supertanker, technically defined as the most optimized ratios for exactly the job this boat would have had to do. Well, I mean, it shouldn't come as terribly surprising that God knew what he was doing. Look at the boat in comparison to the size of what would actually be skyscraper size waves and troughs coming at it. You would have to rip the roof off of that boat to sink it. I guess the next question that might come to mind, how big were the waves? Really? And of course, can all the little animals survive? Perhaps even comfortably. Don't worry. I have this strange feeling that no matter how rocky this boat ride gets, it's gonna come out just...
I find brilliant gifts at Saks.com.
on this journey to understand the truth behind the enormous boat. The vessel that saved all mankind according to the most ancient records of all Earth. We definitely do not start with a boat or the razor-fine details and leftovers of a global flood, nor do we begin at the base of the oldest and largest ziggurat in the world, ancient Eridu, the little dimensional gateway for the Inki, the very spot where the great god Nothing is recorded in stone to have entered. Nor do we start with the heights of spreading biological strangeness and blood altars, often for little human babies, to feed the old serpent who seems to go by so many names, or the ages of occult empires which would rise shortly following the flood, as if dancing to the musical notes and tune of a less than noble Pied Piper, almost as if there were some type of an unseen agent, a dimensional puppet master, whispering from behind the scenes of empires. You know, it's funny. Names and languages can change, but the symbols seem to stay the same. And you can follow those symbols all the way to the start of the Brave New World. The same starting place, coincidentally, where your first records of biological anomalies begin to appear. When peering through the looking glass, it's always an eerie feeling to find out that there's already something looking back through at you. In this modern age, I often hear people state that the supernatural isn't real, that the occult isn't real, and that what you can see with your eyes is all that there is. I strongly disagree with all of that. In fact, I could probably make a very strong case that many, if not all of those things, are actually more real than you are. Of course, that depends on what you mean by real. Was Jewish Nobel Prize winner Niels Bohr, who very famously gave us the actual model for the atom, who stated, and I quote, "Everything we call real is made of things that cannot be regarded as real." Going a step deeper, in this particular case, understand the whole picture. It may be wise for us to zoom out for just a second. You know, when looking at the stars in the heavens above, one could easily glance and say, wow, it's enormous out there. Whilst another might look and say, in a finite space, it almost appears as a little bitty fishbowl where perhaps one could hop to a much larger place. Or, wait a second. How about a cradle? And a cradle, by very definition, is not just a place where infants are born to learn, but also to begin. One has to understand that the picture here is somewhat larger than can enough boards be banged together to make a real big boat. Those pages are saying that it was God himself that told Noah to build that ship. Wasn't it Albert Einstein who wrote, "Those of us who believe in physics understand that time, space, and matter are nothing more than a stubbornly persistent illusion." If you were to really look at reality the way that it isn't comprised of matter, but of little tiny dots, statistical probabilities appearing wherever they need to appear next. A literal continuum, a majesty of mathematical wizardry, like a symphony of equations spilling from the source, an intelligent mind, much, much larger in scope than the tiny, feeble understandings and short grasp of the 5 little bitty senses of mortal men, is all made of little tiny particle pixels, creating every tiny piece of the material world itself. Now bear in mind, there are only 2 distinct possibilities. Either the picture is much, much larger, and you are indeed living in an intelligent construct that is continuously fed by a source. Just as the most basic of observations, from the little tiniest of cells to the stars in the heavens above, suggest. Or, option B, in the beginning, there was nothing, and from pure randomness and accident after accident after accident, chaos slowly rose up to become precision order, which would, of course, be the diametric opposite of every single thing that we can observe, look at, or measure in the entire place. One can only wonder what the inspirational source behind an idea like that might be. It is further said that it was nothing that exploded and became sheer precision everything, leaving you on a random rock spiraling at 66,000 miles per hour through the universe with nobody at the wheel. The answers are either much, much, much smaller in scope, as the textbooks suggest, or they're larger in scope, and a human mind could begin to imagine. What the pages of Genesis, as well as the entire Bible itself, are specifically and redundantly stating is that you and I are living in a smaller subset of a much larger and far more complex reality. The wonderland of finely tuned physics, non-random particle pixels, which all have to be arranged it just right. The whole limited three-dimensional base construct of this thing that commonly goes by the name the material world. Framework and fabric of this present illusion. And according to the text, that before the rage of the waters of that flood began, what once had been beautiful, fresh, new, lush, and mesmerizing had a dark shadow fall down upon it, going from the gardens of Eden to the dark layers, though likely extremely sophisticated. A world flipped upside down, twisted, evil, brutal, and of course, most especially, altering the natural state of things. This is recorded to have churned everything, dark and ugly. Not beautiful. I find absolutely fascinating a seemingly tiny single cell, each and every single one more complex than every single NASA space shuttle and every automated car factory combined. And to run each and every little tiny cell, you are definitely going to need the software, the digital coding for life itself. Exactly zero junk code. When you're looking at DNA, you might as well be holding the creator's signature right in the palm of your hand. Then you simply need your complete program blueprint files, opening up just like a zip file containing the